Join me to paint these beautiful and juicy strawberries using watercolor. The sketch needed for this painting is given here and a link is provided in the description from where you can download this sketch. I start by wetting the paper as we are going to use wet on wet technique. After wetting the paper using a light value of indigo, I paint from top to bottom of the paper. After painting with light value of indigo, I wipe any excess watercolor pigment that is collected near the tip using a waistcloth. My paper is wet and glossy. At this time, I am using a medium value of indigo to paint the shadow of the strawberries. If you find that the paint is entering into the sketched area, you can tilt the board to an angle of 30° by placing some object under the board. After painting with medium value of indigo, next I am using a dark value of indigo to paint along the sketch of the strawberry for the shadow part. My paper is still wet. Next I am using vermilion hue to paint the strawberries. I am placing a masking tape under the board to tilt the board to an angle of 30°. As we are using wet on wet technique, we have to apply the pigments quickly because the paper may dry fast. So be ready with pigments on your palette. We are going to use only 3 pigments for this painting: vermilion hue, indigo and gamboge yellow. In this painting, only the strawberry that is at the center is on focus, while all the remaining strawberries are out of focus. We have to paint all the strawberries using wet on wet technique except the middle one. Next, I mixed vermilion hue with indigo to paint the shadow part of the strawberries. Here the shadow part is too dark, so I am lifting the pigment and applying vermilion hue. Use a medium value of the mix of indigo and vermilion hue to paint the shadow part. After painting the medium value of the shadow part, next use indigo to paint the darkest part of the shadow. Next, by mixing gamboge yellow with indigo, I paint the strawberry hull. The vermilion hue which I applied has gone out of its place, so I'm using lifting technique to lift the pigment which has strayed out of the sketch. My paper is completely dry by now, so next we move on to paint the strawberry which is at the center. Using light value of vermilion hue, I start to paint the strawberry. You can see I am leaving some white spaces to show the highlight on the strawberry. Highlight is the part where the light falls on the object. So when the light falls on the object, there will be some white area on the object. After leaving some white area, next using a medium value of vermilion hue, I paint the strawberry. I painted a medium value slightly inside the highlighted area. Next, I'm using a dark value of vermilion hue to paint this remaining part of the strawberry. Next, we have to paint the shadow part of this strawberry using indigo mixed with vermilion hue, and using the medium value of this mix, I paint the shadow part of this strawberry. Next, using indigo, I paint the darkest part of this strawberry. After that, using a mix of indigo with Camboge yellow, I paint the leafy part of strawberry. When we mix indigo with Camboge yellow, we get a green shade. By varying the composition of these two pigments, you can get a different shade of green, which is used to paint the hull of the strawberry. At last, we painted a very realistic strawberry at the center, which is on focus. Whereas we painted the remaining strawberries using wet on wet technique, which are out of focus. At this point, I found that the highlighted area doesn't mingle with the overall composition of the strawberry. So using a medium value of vermilion hue, I add some strokes to make the strawberry look more realistic. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. See you in another video. Until then, take care and bye bye from Prema.